Okay, looks like we're live. Yes. Yes. Very pleasant good night to you all, to those who are now joining. Good night to you all. A very pleasant good night to you all. Welcome to this, the Dr. Matthews-Bey show. I hope that you would have had a very pleasant day and the day was successful to you. So, as I'm here on this live feed, share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live. I'll take roughly another minute before I start. But in the meantime, share the live. Good night. Good night. Good night to you. Good night to you all, to those who are now joining. Share the live. Share the live feed. Share the live. Let me see. I'm going to put the information up for the Instagram page to those who would want to see me on Instagram. Let me see, post a comment. Yes, it is page. Okay. Yes. So good night. Good night. Good night to you all. Once again, share the live stream, share the live. I've just put up some information there, and I want you to let me put it up live. You see there, it's hrh.p.matthews on Instagram. Someone asked me the other night when I was on, what is the Instagram information, the live feed? So it is hrh.p.matthews on Instagram. That's my Instagram page. Excuse me a bit, please. Let me fix this. Okay. Oh, brother. Okay, yes. So that information is back up. Okay. So we're going to start this evening. Share the live to those who are now joining. Share the live. A very pleasant good night to you. Good night to you all. To my lovely friend Leona. Good night to you. I see that you are a average and also a constant follower. Good night to you. Tonight we're going to discuss a very important topic, and the topic is the emasculation of the Aboriginal man. And I want to divulge on it because I think some of us, we are missing we're missing the point. We are missing what is important to us and the reasons why some people are doing what they're doing. And when I mean some people, I mean the system. Don't get me wrong. I had a brother today who tried to align me with the political system, the comprehension of what is going on politically, not only around the world, but um, in other sectors. But I tried to explain to him that I first, when I started, it was then the Gavin Matthews show. It was basically upon a corporations that would have been doing injustice to Guyanese. And then it went on to the political part where we looked upon the election and the injustices of the election, and there's no more democracy. Then I started studying the how should I put it over? I started studying the etymology of certain things. Then I realized that I wasn't talking the things that were truth, that made the sense at all. So I wanted to start doing that because I want people where I'm coming from. So share the life. Tonight we're going to discuss the emasculation, sorry, of the Aboriginal man by the system. And this is what I wanted to do a very long time, because what's happening now, people are now getting a fan of what I do, what I speak upon on the show, the Dr. Matthews-Bey show, and how I should get you involved in the discussion. So involve it in everyday topic. That discussion must be involved in the everyday topic. So I'm going to read you out first what is the agenda of the system, the emasculating agenda or the emasculation agenda. Okay? Uh, Let me switch to this. To those who wants to see me on YouTube, you see the YouTube information come up there. It is G Matthews. Okay? I just switched over. This one here is Facebook, which is Dr. Matthews-Bey Show. On YouTube, it is G Matthews, and there's a message that I sent to both parties, in particular of both social media networking, that if you want to catch me on Instagram, that information there, hrh.p.matthews on Instagram. So let us continue. Okay? Now, emasculation. Emasculation is the destruction of the Aboriginal indigenous man. And what is that destruction? That destruction comes in the phase of an agenda. What really is the agenda? What really do we talk about constantly about the agenda of the Aboriginal, of the system against the Aboriginal indigenous man? What really is it that we're not getting? The comprehension is lacking thereof. What really is it that we are not finding in such of a way to deal with the information that is given to us? So we're going to talk about the agenda. The agenda is that they target us by giving us an illusion of freedom. That's the very first thing they started doing. For the emasculation of the Aboriginal man, they started that agenda by giving us an illusion of freedom. What was the illusion? They call it emancipation. That was the illusion. But then we, remember now, they created the comprehension of the emancipate, to emancipate you, to give you freedom. But they tell you that. They even teach you that. So every year, the 1st of August, we celebrate emancipation. But when we look at the etymology of the word emancipation, the etymology, meaning the creation of the word, it means to transfer from one owner to the next. So the slave masters who had you in slavery, your foreparents anyhow, transferred you from them to the system. And that transference comes by way of a corporation. To emancipate, to take those that you had in control, those you own. That is why they give the slave owners reparation. And we keep talking about reparation, but we do not comprehend the meaning of reparation. We think reparation is what the system or the slave masters owes to us. That's not it. Reparation is giving you monies, value. As a matter of fact, reparation is giving you due cause. It's like, for instance, I owned you. I tell you now that I create a law where I'm taking you from me and I'm putting you into a system. Now, remember, I own you, I bought you, I paid money for you. Economically, if I decide to hand you over without being, how should I put it, compensated, I will lose out. So that's why they give them reparation. Reparation is a form of compensation. To compensate to those who would have bought you and enslaved you. So that's the very first stage. To give you an illusion of freedom. And they tell you that freedom is emancipation. But when you look upon the word, you realize emancipation is to transfer one's asset from one owner to the next. And who was the assets? Slaves. You were commodity stocks. So now, they don't want to keep holding you in chattel slavery because they realize you have processes of rebellion. So they want to keep you in slavery. So they have to take you out from the cattle slavery into an advanced slavery. So we're going to talk about that now. And it says, they target us by giving us an illusion of freedom, which is emancipation. In that process, they give us jobs. Jobs, jobs. And we feel that we're going out there and we're working in the process of something that you call jobs. But if you look at the word job, J-O-B, whether it has an S at the end or not, it means to oppress. That's what it means. Job is a Hebrew word meaning to be oppressed. So you're going to work every day to your job, your place of job, or your place of work, or you're going to your job, the place of work, to continue to be oppressed. You got to comprehend this system that these people got us living in. It's really an enslavement. They didn't only take away your rights physically, they take away your spiritual rights and your mental rights. They now have full control over you under a system that is called emasculation. So in this process, whilst giving you jobs, a form of oppression, as a matter of fact, whilst oppressing you by calling it job, because you don't know or you can't comprehend that word, they now continue to oppress you. So they create a couple of us that we may call house slaves from time to time. So they call them bourgeoisies or bourgeois. And those bourgeois come from a culture of entertainment. It's either sports, it's either, yes, sports is entertainment. Sports, music, or guns, drugs, and prostitution. But the guns, the drugs, the sports, and the music, where these bourgeoisies came from. So what is happening now? They make sure that they created a bourgeois system. So by doing so, to place them as goals for us. Okay? A lot of us walking around the place when we talk about Kanye West, we talk about 50 cents, we talk about Oprah Winfrey, we talk about all these people that has money. Really and truly, if you check and see how they assume to the position in which they are, people like PDD and all these people, whether they sing, they sports, they do whatever they want to do, the mere fact is that a leeway was given to them so we can have them as a goal, as an admirer. We can say, well, yes, I want to grow up and be like Rihanna or like Eddie Murphy or like Will Smith. We want to grow to be like these people. But when you ask those people about their lifestyle and the life that they live, they will tell you it's horrible. Michael Jackson was the first person that started talking. He said the entertainment system is the work of the devil. He even told you that Sony contracts were the work of the devil. He said that. Hold on, let me change this. Oh, brother. It seems like it's not working on it that much. Oh. Man, oh man, I'm trying to get this stuff changed around, but like it's not working. I don't know, like this thing started cramping out on me now. Yes, by the way, as I was talking, as I was speaking, he was identifying how these multi-billionaires or millionaires who are called bourgeoisies live, right? And they are only highlighted, but they cannot live the life that is being highlighted because they've been controlled by a system. And these are the facts. So what happens after, right? They put goals that you think that you can ascend to. After the program is set in our minds, remember, they created the bourgeoisie culture. So we can set that program in our minds. We can program our minds to try to live, get rich or die trying. As they created that in our minds, they remove and place an agenda in our schools and entertainment centers. After we would have now triggered a goal to become like someone. They're going to use that now. That becomes a master plan. That becomes an agenda now. And make sure it is being taught in school. So you find your school curriculum kind of tends to go in ways that promotes an agenda. They call it a social agenda. That's what they teach in schools. Some people call it moral education. It becomes part of the teaching curriculum. So they created that to make sure that the agenda keeps on track. Okay? So the agenda is to create it in our minds, that goal, to meet that bourgeoisie state. So we can not only learn it in school, we teach it in our homes. It becomes part of our kitchen table discussion. Like, you check, the social media is one of them. Like the night when Will Smith slapped, I think was not his, what was his name? Chris Rock on I think it was the Grammy Awards. It became part of a social media afloat. It was a boom. It talked about because it was an algorithm. It created an agenda. It helps them to let them see how you still think. You cannot see beyond the margin, the goal that they set for you. You got to keep within that goal. So what happens now, right? The agenda now is being taught in schools to create that entertainment system. In all that you do, it's in entertainment that you're being funneled through. That's the system. Also, by teaching this, it removed the Aboriginal man out of their homes by flooding the communities with guns, drugs, and crime. That's what the entertainment system does. It removes the Aboriginal indigenous man out of their homes. You check it. A man get paid, he ain't coming home. Definitely he might come home. To those who are good at it, they can come home, put on the money, but they're gone. They're never at home. During the week, they're never at home. You can never see them. The entertainment system is supported by them. You're always drinking, you're always smoking, you're always doing the things that are harmful to you. Partying, drinking, and sporting, or however you want to call it, keeps you away from your home. Doing drugs keeps you away from your home. Doing crime keeps you away from your home. So you're never at home. So the entertainment system was created to remove you from your home. Remember now, to emasculate the Aboriginal man. This is a process. You have to remove him from his home. You have to take him through that process. You call it an emasculation process. Like one of my brothers trying to link me with a political party today, and I realized that he was talking based upon his what is being given to him. He's in an algorithm. He cannot get PNC and PPP out of his mind. He's stuck there. He cannot think above. So he could only think within. So everything comes out of his mouth is based upon something that is political. It's hard for him to see through that veil. So what happens here now? It keeps them out of their homes by flooding the communities with drugs, guns, and crime, alcohol, tobacco, entertainment. They use 94.1 to flood our radio stations with entertainment They got a night to party for thugs. You can imagine. During the cricket carnival, you got a night for thugs to come out and party. You're telling the thugs, leave your guns or your scissors or your knives at home. To those who identify themselves as thugs, it's an algorithm. And they promote it because it's part of the entertainment. You now who tries to think straight can't think straight because everyone that surrounds you is based on that algorithm. So nobody's there to tell you anything that can be beneficial to you. Anyhow. So what happens after that? When they flood the communities with guns, drugs, and crime, it's allowing the It's allowing the program to raise up our children. It's allowing the program to raise our children in that manner. Well, when your children look around, all they're seeing is the same thing. Entertainment. They're seeing guns, they're seeing drugs, they're seeing crime, prostitution. There are children who knows that what their parents go out and do at night, especially their mothers and their fathers, they know these things because they know this is how they survive. So when that child grows big, that child cannot step out of that arena because he is embedded in it. He mightn't be a thief. He mightn't be a person that contributes to the drugs or the guns in the community, but he might become a bourgeoisie. And the bourgeoisie is still part of the program. You know that? You get a nice house, you get a nice car, you get a couple of millions of dollars, and you join the bourgeois community. Then you start speaking out against those who want to speak out against you. They don't know how you make it in life. They don't know what you did to meet where you are. You join the bourgeoisies. Welcome to the club of bourgeois. And what happens there now? Because your children now becomes part of that program, because of the fatherless homes. You understand? It raises up your children in such a form that they create now laws that imprison your men or our males, our Aboriginal indigenous males. They create laws that imprison our Aboriginal indigenous males, leaving our children fatherless, creating anger and hate of our fathers, creating laws. Remember, you're already ignorant. You don't comprehend the laws around you. So you know what, and there's more laws to create. When you decide to get to the common goal of for number one law, another 3, 4, 5 laws are created to defeat that one. We call it constitutional reforms. So you're going back to square one. That's the facts. Back to square one. Hold on, just a minute. Yes. So they're creating laws just for you to know, well, they're always on top. You're always at the bottom. Give you a few crumbs and you will dwindle. You will give up your brother and your sister. You will sell your mother for 30 pieces of silver, and you will imprison your father for less than anything else. They know these things. And to top it off, your sons and daughters now becomes part of the military. Who else you can get to imprison their own? By employing your children to imprison you, so that you can be obedient to the oppressive laws that were designed to oppress you. That's the fact. So, let's move on. And when you create fatherless homes by imprisoning your brothers, your fathers, your nephews, your uncles, in the process of the emasculation of the Aboriginal man, they are now filling that void with homosexuality. It's a horrible topic. Oh no. My gosh. It's a horrible topic. They're filling that void with homosexuality. That's the void they're filling. Fatherless homes, homosexuality. That's the void that they are filling it with, they're creating with. There's now a strong stance for the LGBTQ community among our people. And it's in promotion, they're promoting it. Yeah, they are. It's a heavily promoted issue. It's a topic that nobody wants to talk about. But that topic replaces the fatherless homes. The emasculation of the alpha, the Aboriginal man, the Aboriginal indigenous man, to emasculate him. So when you look at all these things that I'm talking about, they're now up with the other standard of life, homosexuality. It's a topic nobody wants to brace upon because they say it's discrimination and all these things. But it is a fact. You have lots of fatherless homes because the system has created it, and to make sure they're filling that void with homosexuality. There are lots of fatherless homes, plenty. And you know what? Whether you like it or not, that's the fact. Children now know that Daddy and Sam doing the thing, or Mommy and Jane doing the thing. You speak to children and they will tell you it's causing a psychological effect on them. So now they're trying to teach it in the schools so the children wouldn't go through a phase of what you call discrimination. Wouldn't go through that phase because you now have to identify and agree with and teach it in schools that it's okay for Mommy and Jane or Daddy and Sam. So there's no discrimination. But it's causing a psychological effect because that was not meant to be. So now they're replacing the void in the empty home, the fatherless homes, with homosexuality, removing our values completely from the home, where it takes a man and a woman to complete a home and to make parents. It's removing that value from that home. And it's not only removing the value from the home, it now brings a disrespect to the woman. But nobody now respects the woman because her man is now being emasculated, or her husband, or the Aboriginal man is being emasculated. So she now has to feel the blunt of what is going on in society, and she doesn't have a choice. She can say whatever she wants to say. She does not have a choice. It's a sad story. It is. My apologies to that, but it is a very sad story. It's not working for the best interests of your family. It's not. It's not working for the best interest of your family. It is a sad story. We got to think about this, my brothers and sisters. This got to be the bread and butter issue. The continuation of the emasculation of the Aboriginal man will continue as long as the world is set out to be this way. Remember, it is to take from you what is rightfully yours. You must not understand economics. You must not do bartering. You must not understand, or you must not comprehend the value of you. You must only comprehend the value of the objects that they present to you. You must not comprehend that you are the most valuable commodity worldwide, human resource, or the resources of the living soul. They don't want you to comprehend that. They would never want you to comprehend that. You must not see the light. You must not see the truth. You must be blinded at all times. These are the facts. Whether we like it or not, these are the facts. It's a heavy task. But look what they're taking from us, everything. I told you since the beginning of this year, I was talking about the entertainment system. And I was saying to you how it is designed. Now look what they're doing right now. They're entertaining you. You can imagine the entertainment system only profits from those who invest in it. And you have a CEO who's not only stealing the wealth of your country or from you, but he's helping you to comprehend that you are not worthy to know this information. You can only entertain. So he's boosting the tourism sector in the corporation of Ghana for who? What you think tourism is about? Tourism is about entertainment. That's what tourism is about. You fly to a country, you know you can get everything. You can get girls, you can get boys, you can get drugs, guns, you can get everything. Music, alcohol, you can party and enjoy yourself. And not a soul can tell you nothing because you have privileges. You end up like Santo Domingo. Sorry, you end up like the Dominican Republic, where the entire island is based upon tourism. And the government has them that way because they cannot see the value of themselves nor the country. That's what Guyana is going to turn to. It's a process of slave or enslavement. It's a process of a continuation of enslavement. Whether you don't like it or not, that is the fact. It is that process. And hey, they don't care if you like it. They don't want to know. They're trying to tell you personally, they just don't care. These are the facts. What can we do as a people to bring ourselves out of this situation, this traumatic situation of emasculation of the Aboriginal indigenous man? What can we do to bring ourselves out of it? It's to edify ourselves, bring ourselves together for a purpose and a cause, to eradicate this emasculinity, to eradicate this emasculation, that is going on. Among us as Aboriginal people, Aboriginal indigenous people, we need to eradicate it because it's not doing any good for our people and our children. It's not. Whether we don't appreciate it or not, it's not doing good for us. And our children are suffering because we do not know what to tell them. Everything is happening to them that distracts us from the truth. If it's not a death in the family, it's somebody who has cancer, it's somebody who's suffering from diabetes, it's somebody who's always, something is happening. And the home is being destroyed. Because the emasculation of the Aboriginal man is to make sure that his home becomes fatherless. Is to make sure that the children are fatherless, that he cannot sit and teach the truth because he knows, the system knows that the truth comes from the father, which is the man. It's only he can tell his children the truth. But he's not even given time to sit down because he's in a process of emasculation. It's a sad story. It is a sad story. Some of us doesn't want to go to that. We don't want to go back into that kind of area to reason, but it's the fact. Emasculation, the destruction of the Aboriginal indigenous man, the agenda. The agenda is that they target us by giving us an illusion of freedom, which they call emancipation, by giving us jobs, creating bourgeois, and a place, and by creating bourgeois, it's creating a place that gives us a goals. They give us goals to ascend so that we can ascend to by creating bourgeois. And when we think we are ascending to these goals, after that program, because the emasculation of the Aboriginal man is by stages, after that stage would have been completed, after the program sets in our minds, they remove that and place their agenda in our schools. So we gotta say, well, I want to be like Barack Obama. It's an agenda. Place these in an agenda in our schools and entertainment system, also to remove the Aboriginal man out of their homes by flooding the communities with guns, drugs, and crime, allowing the program, allowing to program and to rise up our children, in a world that are fatherless, creating laws that imprison our men, leaving our children fatherless again, creating anger and hate of our fathers because they were never there. And to fill that veil with homosexuality, that void, to replace that void that we're missing in the homes. Sometimes it's a battle. Because sometimes I just gotta tell my son's mother, your treatment to him is not of that of masculinity, he's masculine. You gotta allow me to teach him that. And you know, that's how it goes. And they set a system, they program the minds. You now have to unprogram that. You now have to unwrap all of that. I know it's a process, but you have to do it. You have to fight to unwrap it. I have to constantly come into a comprehension of reasoning with my son's mother to let him know. And to let her know too that this is a masculine area. Because at some point in time, boys need their fathers to know what is it to be alpha? What is it to stand up? And to be alpha. And they ain't got no turning back, they ain't got no softness with it. And because that eradication has been happening in the homes, they're creating laws to make sure it remains the same way. By saying the child has a right, you cannot discipline them. You can't tell them what to do. You could imagine the child has a right. And when you can't discipline them and they're doing what they feel like to do, now you cannot say anything anymore because they're doing what they're doing when they feel it's right. They now become a nuisance to society. Now the government steps in. The same government that tells you you can't do them what you feel like, you can't discipline them, they now step in and take the child away from you, place them into what you call a foster care. When that child meets 18 years of age, he's out on the streets, he or she, where do you think they're going to go? To the streets. There's no plan. The only thing the de facto regime might do is to try to give you a job. That's it. You got to make it on your own now. Arise the process now of the LGBTQ community, because they welcome them with their open arms. You know, changing values. You know, changing concepts. You're changing choices. People don't have a choice anymore. destroying principles that people once have. A girl might think, oh, when I grow up, I want to marry, have 10 children and a nice home and a nice husband. When they face reality, society, what you're giving them right now, that concepts disappear. That principle goes through the door. There's no value anymore in a man and a woman. You become a scarce commodity, a preferred stock, a friend with benefit. It's destroying us. The emasculation of the Aboriginal man is destroying us. It's taking us places that we shall never, ever be. Yeah, I'm sorry to say this, but that's the fact. All over the place, you turn your meet it. When you think somebody's straight, they're bent. Just now, it's going to be a crime. Laugh? Some may want to, but it's a fact. Just now, it's going to be a crime for you to be a normal man. I had an officer that once said, when I was in the police force being in the recruitment stage, he said to us, one of these good days we will awake and realize we have to pay for the clean air that we breathe in. And never forget those words. He's not wrong, he's right. I'm telling you this now. One of these good days, we'll awake and hear it's a crime to be a man. A straight man. It's going to be a crime. One of these good days. At the rate and the speed our generation is going at, it is going to be a hell of a hobble. I always appreciate taking the time to come and talk to you about things that are very important. And I would like you to comprehend that I would not waste my time sitting here telling you trash. Please take heed. Comprehend where you are going, where you're taking your family. Do not be misled and do not be fooled. Life is not a thing you should play with, because you will be answerable for it. You will have to answer for it. I want to say to you to stay safe, be careful. I want to say to you to sanitize yourself at all times. Stay clean in your homes and in your environment. Wear a mask when you get into public places, and don't forget the ones that you take with you. Protect them at all times. This show came to you with the kind compliments of Black Love, Greenleaf Distributors, and Event Management Services. In any questions pertaining to what I had tonight or any other night that you would have revised and looked over, please call me the number below the screen. It's 592-611-6575, and you get on to me. I very much appreciate of being here for you. This is Dr. Matthews-Bey saying thank you very much for the time that you've spent with me on this live show, and I appreciate your constant support, whether financially or verbally or physically. But I want to thank you very much. This is Dr. Matthews-Bey saying good night and cheerios for now.